Hey guys, this is Dan.
And this is Billy.
This is Wayne.
And thanks for tuning into the Faulty Logix podcast.
So today we'll be talking about tipping. So
I've been waiting so long to talk about this.
yeah,
topic.
he's been really angry about it for a long time. So we found a couple of videos that we'll share in the links below. The first one is from Fox Los Angeles. So Fox Los Angeles News covered rules for tipping. So they provided like a 1-minute quick video about like kind of different places to tip. The first one they said was restaurants. Restaurants for good service is 20%. Terrible service is 10%. So minimum at a restaurant you'll have to tip is 10%. At a bar they said you'll have to do $1 for drinks and 20% if you have a tab. Valet is $2. Washroom attendant / coat check is $1. For deliveries, they said 10% for like regular delivery, and if it's a difficult delivery, so they gave the example of if you live on the 10th floor, your elevator's broken, that's difficult. Rainy day, that's difficult. Next is taxi. They said 15%, an extra $1 or $2 for baggage, 20% for hairdresser, $2 for the shampoo person. And the spa is same as hairdresser unless they're the owner, which they get no tip. So the video ended with them saying, if you can't afford to tip the proper amount, stay home.
First of all, it pisses me off that this video is recorded in a way that it actually is telling me what I should be doing. Like the photo video was his opinion and it was just titled incorrectly. But these guys are literally telling you, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And if you're not doing it this way, you're doing it wrong and you're bad.
So any of these categories, like, so do you guys tip? I think all of us do majority of these because I think we're just kind of raised that way. But I sometimes actually don't tip the bartender. I sometimes don't, but I majority of the time do, but I sometimes don't.
Well, bartender, if you're going to keep going back and forth, you know
Yeah,
what?
exactly, yeah. So
Just
beers
tip them all at once. So you know what? I've learned from my cousin. Drop him a 20 in the beginning and it'll give you good service for the rest of the night.
Yeah, but then what if they forget who you are because there's so many people in the bar?
Well, then he's not getting any more tip.
Because like if you go downtown in Toronto and you buy a drink, it's gonna be like $6-7, right?
Yes.
That's like cheap, like, or average, I guess. And then you gotta drop them $1. Then that over time that gets pretty pricey, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you like buy your friends a couple of drinks, then you gotta tip them $5 or something, and that's just like, oh man, it all adds up.
No, you just get 5 drinks and tip him 1.
Tip them $1. You gotta buy in bulk.
Yeah, I did that one. I'm like, okay, I'm being a little too Asian, but you know, I need more money for more drink.
Okay, so I have a question about this as well. I'm not somebody who drinks. So in the case that you go to an event where it's like an open bar or like an all-inclusive whatever, do you tip in those kind of situations?
Oh.
Open bar, yeah.
Yeah, you have to tip, yeah.
What the hell?
Because
They guilt trip you.
you're not tipping based on, okay, people tip based on how much they're paying, but you really should be tipping on if you think this guy deserves a tip.
I don't think anybody deserves a tip.
Yeah, like, it's very tricky. Like, most of the time, I think you don't tip based on service, you tip based on peer pressure.
Yes,
right?
that is true because of the culture that we're raised in.
Yeah, like, I don't like tipping taxi drivers because they're all assholes. Like, when they drive, it's like, they drive crazy. When you're not in the car with them, they cut you off, they U-turn, they do all kinds of crazy stuff, and they just...
They take longer routes to charge you even more.
Yeah, and especially if you're, like, a local, you know where they're going. Like, you know how to get to your own home, and they take the wrong way. It's just like, no, I'm not tipping this person.
I don't understand why we're tipping them to do the job that they're supposed to do. They're already getting paid to do the job. Why are they getting extra money?
Like, because I know you worked at a
paintball place,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then those kind of, like, jobs, they don't really tip you, right?
Yeah, so I spend the whole day servicing people. Like, it's literally a service job. You ref them, you provide them with their equipment, whatever it is, you clean and everything like that. It's literally just all a service. But none of my employees were getting any tips and stuff like that. But a pizza guy comes, delivers pizza, drops it off, and I'm gonna tell this one story about this billionaire that came to our place. I can't name names, I can't name drop
The
anything like that.
ballers.
Probably not too many billionaires.
This guy tipped the pizza guy $100. And I made sure we gave him immaculate service because obviously he's a billionaire. He could just buy us out and fire us. We didn't get jack shit from him.
Yeah, the culture of like where and when to tip is so strange. Like I remember working at a catering place, so I did like weddings and stuff. I was like a waiter / busboy, and it was a really weird setup because they just paid us the regular minimum wage amount, well,
Yes.
a little bit over the minimum wage, right? And then I didn't mind not being tipped because that place you don't expect to get tipped, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like random people who tip you, and I think in that condition it actually felt better to get tipped because we worked regularly, we didn't expect to get tips, and then when a guy's like, "Oh, you guys are doing a great job. This is like one of the best weddings
Yes.
I've been to," and then they just give you a 20. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I'm doing a good job, right? Like that was
Exactly.
pretty good. Like that was a good feeling.
Like the 3 years that I worked at the paintball place, I got tipped from a client maybe like 3 times in those 3 years. And those times that I did get a tip, I was like, oh damn, like I must have really, really done a good job for this guy to feel like I deserve a tip in the industry where I almost never see a tip, right? So I'm kind of the same way as well too, where if somebody does give me that service where it's above and beyond what I'm expecting, I probably would feel like this guy does deserve a little bit extra because he's doing something that's not in his job description. He's going above and beyond to make me feel good or whatever.
Yeah, so in Ontario too, like they have like separate wages for servers, and servers get paid less because there's like a tipping thing that's supposed to be in their pay, right? So
the service minimum.
Yeah, so they get paid a less amount, and then they're expected to make up that by getting tips, right? Which is kind of like silly.
I think it's complete bullshit because it puts the onus on the customers to make sure that these servers are getting paid a wage where they can survive, where in reality it should be the business owners making sure that their employees are paid enough to, pay for rent, get food on the table, have a roof over their head. So by the customers paying these tips, the owners are getting off scotch-free because they don't have to pay taxes on that.
I think like some places, probably people don't mind. Like if you're a bartender at a really busy place, or you're at a high-end restaurant, you probably get a lot of tips. But I think like they can probably then pay you accordingly to that because they make a lot of money, right? So some people might not mind that actually.
What I'm getting from you guys are kind of against tipping.
100%.
Billy?
I'm alright with it.
So in the perfect world, a world without tipping could be ideal. But because of how everyone grew up in North America, how our culture developed, that is now the best way to do things.
But it's not the best way. It's just
okay. There's
what
also
we think is
a
the
point
best
you're
way.
saying about how the owners don't have to pay tax on it. The workers don't have to pay tax on it either. They should because it's income, right? But now they're not paying tax on it because no one reports it. Mm-hmm. So they're actually getting more.
But that's not our job. Like, if they provided bad service, like, we shouldn't be the ones responsible for their survivability.
That's true. But would you rather have someone give you an enjoyable night or someone just pass you your food?
But it's their job to serve me.
Yeah, and serving is just giving your food.
I'm fine with them serving me food. That's their job. Like, it's not that hard to take my order and bring the food to my table. And once in a while, come around, ask me if I want water. It's not that hard. Like, pay the guy minimum wage if you need to. If you really want to make sure that your employee gets paid properly, increase the price of the food. I don't mind paying extra for the food as long as I know you are paying your employee.
I think like when I was a teenager, I don't think I actually tipped at all because...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never
I
thought
about I need to tip.
So I think if they increase the price of the food, I think it's harder for kids to afford it because kids don't tip because I don't think most of my friends
because
tip.
if you're increasing the price of the food, you're paying more food for when you're taking out too.
But if you're a kid and you don't have money to eat luxuriously, don't eat luxuriously.
Yeah, a lot of kids
they'll
just buy food and take out, right? McDonald's, they'll get tips too. People
McDonald's?
don't know about it. Well,
Really?
I'm not positive for McDonald's. We worked at Tim Hortons, but we did get tips, right?
Yeah.
And we're just serving coffee. But most people don't even know about the tipping at Tim Hortons. But a lot of customers, they just want a tip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's because maybe you did a good job, right? But it's not required to be tipped at Timmy's. It's not something that's like, if you don't tip them, the Timmy's server or whatever like that, they're not going to be like, oh, this asshole didn't tip me.
Yeah.
Now I can't pay my bills.
There's no like social pressure to tip at Tim Hortons, which is okay.
No, but in the end, I don't want to say in the end because it's not that. Because the problem is with our society that's the only way we can do it now. We can't revert back because
it's true. It's very hard to change a whole culture. Like other countries like Japan, China, South Korea, even Australia, which is more like kind of similar to North America here. They don't have tipping there, right? And they somehow get by. Like when you go to those countries and you like get food, it is a weird feeling to not tip, but it's also very nice. Once you get used to not tipping, it's like amazing.
It's hard for us to go back because the people who are benefiting from it are obviously the ones that are going to fight against it. Sure. And these are the business owners.
They also have the most power too, right?
Exactly. It's the business owners that have the control. They're going to get the politicians that they want in to pass the laws that they want. And honestly, tipping is not that big of a deal. That is going to be a big topic for any politician anyways. They're not going to be like, all right, guys, elect me so I can remove tipping or banish tipping, But
the good thing about tipping, because I still agree with tipping because of the society we live in, it does attract the best workers. Because you know what? Being aware, it could be a very lucrative position.
Yeah, if it's a fancy restaurant, then
they walk away at $400-500 a night.
Yeah, they do some good money.
But when I've been to Japan, they don't accept any tips, and that's probably the best service I've ever had anywhere.
Yeah,
Japan by far best food in the world, I think.
Like it's your job to serve people. Like your quality of service shouldn't be determined by how much tips you're expecting to get.
In the same way, you could say the same thing about commission-based work. Can't you?
Yeah, that's like salespeople.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're just asking someone, do you want to buy it? But
Right.
if you put in the good work to convince this person that they need it, you'll get extra money because of commission based.
But
right?
commission is from the employer too, though. It's not from the customer, right? The customer does not give the
No,
commission.
because the customer is going to be giving this company more money. That in turn goes to the employee.
Yeah, which is
Right,
which is
so the
kind of
employer,
like, yeah,
It
which
goes
is kind
through
of-
the employer first, then to the salesperson.
That's kind of how just no
But it's
tipping
still,
works.
you know, it's basically the same concept.
Yeah, but it does
But at least
remove it
this
from the
way,
customer, right?
because this way, it gives the customer more power on what this person deserves. Because I'm not saying you need to tip the person. Tip when the tip is
when the tip is due.
Yeah.
But in our society, if you don't tip, the server is going to look at you and be like, you're an asshole, instead of thinking,
Yeah.
my boss is an asshole
Have you
because
guys,
he doesn't
have
pay
you guys
me.
ever not tipped someone though? Like, has a service ever been?
I've known people.
But have you ever done
No,
it though?
I
Have you ever done it?
As much as I hate tipping, I have never not tipped because I don't want to be that asshole. I've tipped very little, but nowadays I just tip 13% because I like the number 13.
I think my default is 15%. I always just go 15.
The problem with our society now, because everyone does tip, a lot of owners are taking advantage of the people who's working illegally. A lot of Asian places, workers don't get tipped.
Yeah.
Now what happened to those people?
Well, I think those people also just get paid in cash too, right? It's kind of like they don't have much leverage in the first place.
Yeah, but in those cases, people still tip. And all that money goes to the employer now.
Yeah, in Canada, if you guys don't know this, but when you do tip, it doesn't go directly to the servers anymore. It goes to like a pot, and that gets split up between servers, busboys, kitchen staff. Everyone gets a piece of that
That
tip.
was always like that, though.
But I think that was like a personal thing. Like the server can decide who they can give it to
No.
and everything.
It's been like that for at least a decade that I know of.
But now, like, apparently, from what I heard, like, managers get a cut out of it too. And they
That-
get a huge
That
cut.
that part doesn't make sense, though. You know what? I believe everyone should get a cut into the tip.
They should.
Because...
If they are getting tipped, yeah.
Well, they're part of the service chain, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, because everyone only see the server, right? So everyone gets affected.
Here's another thing too. Like, why is my tips based on a percentage? What makes the service of somebody who brings me a $10 meal? Maybe they give me superb or excellent service, and it's a $10 meal. Say it's a 15% tip. It's like $1.50, right? Versus I go to a restaurant that is high end, maybe a $100 meal. They give me shit service, and all of a sudden I have to give them like $15.
Well, then in those cases, you know, I agree. Don't tip. It's like saying if someone goes spit in your food right in your face, you're not gonna give them the tip, right?
No. I think it's better to tip them 1 cent just to piss them off
Yeah.
than to not tip at all. I think the 1 cent makes a statement.
Because, you know, I kind of do see why you would base on percentage, because it does give people incentive to work their way up to a better restaurant. Or else everyone would just be at the low down restaurant. No one's going to want to work at the restaurant because so much is required of them, right?
Yeah, that's true. At the higher end restaurant, the people are more snooty and they gotta
Oh, yes.
have a quality.
Have you
to
had
it.
service from those restaurants? It's immaculate.
Yeah, they always come at you.
And at the same time too, it's like, why am I tipping based on this guy being good at bringing food to my table? I feel like I should be tipping the chef for making freaking amazing food.
Yeah, but yeah, they actually get a very little amount. But the thing is, the chef could also screw over the waiter. Have you ever been to those restaurants where you see waiters actually yell at the cooks?
Oh,
Because they keep screwing up.
Oh.
And because those people, they're screwing their wage now.
Yeah. It's also like
Because there's always a back and forth, right?
yeah, but it's also like if you've ever been a waiter or waitress, it's like it's very hard to be positive that many days consistently too. But I guess it is a part of the job, right? Like, it is like
But-
if you don't have that skill set, then you shouldn't be doing it. But
With-
it's hard.
With your argument in like chefs screwing over service or whatever, if there was no tipping at all and the owners were paying their employees, you can't really screw the server over.
That's true because there's no tip. It doesn't affect their wage, right? They got a static wage
Yeah.
no matter what.
Because I don't want to say it to offend the people that works here. Because you know how they say in Asia, people are proud of their work. Here, maybe not so much. That's why you need the tipping system to make people accountable for their job. Because you know what? If they're going to do a bad job, they'll get no tips and they'll lose their job. That's why the tip system works in North America, because it's been implemented and it's too far in.
Yeah, so the culture of North America is just like a quicker reward system than right.
But there are just some douchebags out there that just don't tip at all.
Yeah,
just like you
that's
said,
the problem,
your friend.
because no one want to conform. Or
And-
no, they're just too cheap.
I know some people that do like the dine and dash as well too. And they do it for
Oh, that's
fun.
just a completely different story.
That screws them over too, right?
I've always wanted to dine and dash just for fun, but I feel very bad. But I always want to try it. I feel like it would be like
But who
exhilarating
gets screwed over? It's the server that
I know,
gets
but they
screwed
just
over.
never go
Yeah.
back to a restaurant, never again.
And maybe they were a great employee and everything like that.
Yeah, but you kind of just want to do that just to kind of
Yeah, I do see your point. Was like, why is it our responsibility to pay the workers
Right.
to make? Because you know what, I do also make sense, because not everyone eats in.
Oh, that's also a good point. You
Right.
tip when you just do
Yeah,
takeout.
Yeah, because when you do takeout, you don't tip.
Yeah,
Hell no.
tip.
Because
I don't tip.
exactly.
You
So
didn't do shit for me.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're going to implement the waiter's wage into a takeout, why should you be paying that? Because they didn't do anything for you. So this way, if this is like a direct line of you're paying for what you're getting.
But look at it this way. Like, when you do a takeout, somebody still cooks your food. Somebody still brings you the food once that food is completed. Maybe it doesn't walk as far. And what is the difference? The only difference is that, one, you're eating at the restaurant and somebody has to clean the table. It's not the server that cleans the table, it's the busboy.
Well, it's the rent. You're paying, the tip is the rent then, for the
much.
space that you're...
And like, that's why, or else all restaurants would just be a takeout window, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's also, I guess you're just more tipping for the experience. Like, like you go to a restaurant, you sit in just for an experience, right? Or else, because when you take out for home, you kind of just want to be a lazy ass.
So you're saying that it's hard for us to go back to
Unless
not tipping.
Kim Jong-un took over Canada, tipping's gonna have to stay no matter what. Because there's just no way. Unless everyone decides one day, okay, no more tip, everyone gets a higher wage. Like, you know what? In the States, there are places that does that. But
those
the
are
problem
good
is
owners.
no one knows. No one knows that the worker's not getting tipped.
I've always wanted to like open a restaurant and have signs everywhere and just be like, there is no tips at this place because I pay my employees properly.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be great.
That's true, because like imagine like a bad night and you're a working mom and you work at like a restaurant and it's not busy, so you don't get any tips, right? So you're kind of like screwed for that day. So your wage kind of varies a lot based on how busy it is. So that kind of sucks, like if you think about it. So anyways, guys, there's actually another video that we had from College Humors that will also link in the description below. It's basically a skit called Adam Ruins Everything, where he challenges the customs of tipping. So in this, he actually answers, or at least hopefully it's accurate enough to answer, why tipping actually exists. So
This guy's great, by the way. I love him.
he actually does a really good job. So he explains that tipping exists because during the Prohibition era, the owners of restaurants were making a lot less income. So because of that, they started letting their customers like accept bribes from their customers, right? Or the servers accept bribes from the customers.
And just to explain why they were getting less income is because during the Prohibition era, alcohol was banned, it was illegal, and that's a huge chunk of profit that restaurants could have been taking in. So because of that, they're losing out on a lot of money.
Yeah, so because of that, the bribes became an obligation, and over time, like it just became a part of the culture. So one of the actual interesting things that they mentioned in that is do you tip before or after tax, right? Because it'll make a difference depending on how big your bill is, right? If you tip before or after.
I'm a lazy guy. I do it after tax. As long as I stay in Ontario, it works.
Because it's 13%.
But if you go elsewhere, it's gonna range because different tax treatment.
Yeah, I remember going to Hawaii. The tipping there is insane because you have to tip a lot there, and our exchange rate is so like bad. So everything felt like it was like double the price there because of the tips.
I've always tipped before taxes because I'm so against tipping in the first place. I don't understand why I'm paying extra money on top of the tax as well too. That has nothing to do with the service.
Oh, no, but you just adjust your rate. Like, 15 before, 10 after.
Screw it.
That's easiest. Because, doing a 10% is the easiest. So you just move
you just move the decimal place
Yeah,
over.
because if I do
math.
15, that's like, move the decimal over, then divide that by 2, add it to whatever it was, then add it to your final bill, and then round it up or down to the nearest dollar.
Well, what I do is like, because our taxes in Ontario is 13%, and I used to tip 10%, so I would just be like, whatever the bill is before tax times 1.23, and that's what I would tip.
That does make it easier, but it's just like, I don't know, I feel like, when you go out with your friends and then someone there, tips really well, and then you kind of just
And
like...
then you have the one friend that just pays his share without tax and tip.
Oh yeah, when you're splitting a bill with your friends, oh my god,
Okay,
it's
yeah,
a
that's
disaster.
a douchebag move, but...
Because some people don't multiply the tax, some people don't multiply it with the tips.
Yeah, and then one person will be like, wait, we're short this much, I guess I have to pay this much more because you can't figure out who the culprit is.
Yeah, I know, it becomes a disaster.
As much as I hate tipping and everything, I'm so against it, I'll still do my fair share of tipping because I don't want the person who worked there to think of me as an asshole and be like, oh, I'm going to remember this guy. I hate his guts and everything.
Yeah.
But I just want to tell them, like, can you tell your boss to kiss my ass?
Well, it's also like, I don't know, it's just very bad. Like, there's just so much wrong with it too, because it's not the server's fault. The boss is maybe like, partially at fault, but he also kind of like just following what everyone else does, right?
Yes, of course. Because if you go your own way, not gonna work.
Because potentially with tips they could make more than what they would have gone paid,
Oh, yeah.
but potentially they can also make less. So it's kind of like a high risk, high reward kind of thing.
So I want to ask you guys, have you gone to those resorts?
No, those all inclusive resorts.
Yes.
I'm going to go to one, but
Does a cruise count?
no, I never.
Cruise counts.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Do you tip there?
No.
My first strategy was to find a bartender and give him money, and then say, "Give me drinks every single time you see me."
Yeah.
That's my plan. That was my strategy.
Because you know what? I tip. I want to say a lot when I go to these trips. Because you know what? When you see how these people live, it's like you're going to feel bad. They're going to have to clean your shit and not make that much. Because you know what? Especially when you go to those countries, it's like everyone's poor.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah, their lifestyle is just.
It can just
bad.
feel, you know.
I think it was like if you give them $30 like US, it can change their life for a month.
Oh yeah, they can
Basically.
probably buy a house.
Yeah, they can do a lot of crazy stuff like with
Still
that.
not tipping. Here's the thing too. Okay, so I'm going on a cruise soon, like next week, and it is kind of all inclusive. Like all the food's there, the buffet's there, but for certain like fountain pops and alcoholic beverages, you do have to pay extra for.
Mhm.
And you can get yourself like a card where you get unlimited drinks or whatever, and that is an expensive freaking deal that you have to get. So if I'm paying like $50 a day to get unlimited alcoholic drinks, I don't want to tip on top of that. Screw these guys.
No, but my concern, they're not. I'm not talking about bartenders because I know they're gonna make a lot. More about
The people that actually work
The
on the
maids.
islands and stuff.
the maid that's cleaning your room.
Oh yeah. Well,
Do you ever see them? I feel so sorry for them. I don't want to say because it's like people in this island just.
I don't
kinda
know.
Rough.
I don't know about the like resorts and stuff, but for me, I don't feel bad about the people on the cruises.
Oh yeah, because they're probably like balling.
Yeah,
it's probably just they're
it's
on
like-
vacation for themselves.
Yeah, they have a free place to stay. They have free food all the
Yeah.
time. Literally everything they make is going to be money in the bank because they don't have to spend anything. So, like, screw those guys.
I guess I should be more specific. The places I'm talking about are like Dominican Republic, Cuba, people that's probably living below the poverty line there, right? It's like you just can't.
Well,
help
there,
it's like,
if they
maybe
work
I
at a
can help
resort.
this person.
no, but if they work at a resort there, they're probably on like a decent wage.
Yeah, the
relative
people
to
that
everyone
work
else.
at the resorts are paid decently. It's the people that are outside. They're the really, really poor
The
people.
one that's trying to scam you.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not gonna
you
tip
can,
them.
can you blame them? They're trying to sell you like a shitty like $2 necklace for like $30 and stuff,
Yeah.
and it breaks by the time you leave.
Do you guys think there's any way to actually change Canada to not have a tipping rule anymore? Because other countries do have it, and their society's not like crumbling.
We
So
need better politicians. Politicians that fight for the people rather than for the businesses.
You're saying we need some Donald Trump here?
No, elect me.
You know what?
Elect
I
me.
hate mandatory tips.
Oh yeah, when you have like six
Service
or more
charge?
people, yeah.
Yes.
Bastards.
That I can't stand. Don't tell me that I need to tip. I'll tip if I want to tip.
Exactly, just like stupid Fox News. Pieces of shit.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? The only thing coming out of that video is just to inform people that don't know where people normally tip. That's it. Just to let you know, you could tip here if you want.
No, I think they were more like, this is the rules.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
they're saying
That
this
I
is the
hate.
rules.
But
They're
other
like,
than that, at least they're kind of like saying, yeah, people do tip it, just so people know, right?
Yeah.
I just don't like the end where it says, stay home if you don't want to tip.
Yeah, I don't like the washroom attendant one because you're paying $1 every time you have to pee. So it's very expensive pee after the night. Like if you pee 5 times, 'cause when you drink alcohol, it makes you pee.
I think
don't
it's-
wash your hands.
I think the dollar's for, because the guys that smell like shit.
And especially if you're living in Canada, how many loonies are you going to carry?
Yeah, man. We don't have
Jesus.
enough loonies here to handle that, and we're not giving them 5s because that's just crazy talk.
And if you're at a club and you're just dancing and just clinking, clanking all the day long, it's like, what the hell? Doesn't make any sense at all.
I like tipping at the hairdresser though. I don't know why. I'm okay with that.
I don't like doing that either.
Huh?
I don't like tipping the hairdresser because I tip them too much.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know
yeah,
why.
problem. Well, my hair has a
But I
chip. So.
enjoy my haircuts.
But their
They
job
must-
is to
wait.
cut my hair. What do they do
Do they
extra?
massage you?
Yeah.
Oh, then that's good. I like the head massages. It's so good.
It is good, it's good.
You should have it in China.
I did have it in China. Oh my god, I could live like that.
Yeah, it was like $2.
See, China people, they work hard, man, and they.
And they don't ask for a tip. So here's a tip for you guys. Go check out our social media accounts. Go subscribe to us on YouTube.
What a sellout! I would not tip Dan for that. That was a terrible sellout. thing
Tip
to do.
us. We need money for more equipment. You saw our photo. 1 mic for 3 guys.
Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like. Share this with your friends. Help us get our name out there. And yeah, thanks for listening. Peace.